Thanks, Professor Wang, for the introduction, and I'm very glad to have this opportunity to share some of my thought on DAO networks. And our topic today, digital twin, CPS, and my own research, parallel intelligence, and CPSS. I will conduct my talk along these 5 different lines. First, I think we need a new philosophy for this new age. And digital twin networks and parallel have become buzzword. To me, this is very simple. When you have many digital twins, when they become systems, you have networks. And when you assign intelligence into networks, then you're going into parallel intelligence. And this will lead a revolution in education, in research, and in application. We're going to have a new social science, and a new engineering, and a new science. And they are primarily go around 2 things, CPSS and the CPSI. And our conference is CPSI, Cyber Physical Social Intelligence. And actually, sometimes I want to use PSCI, Physical Social Cyber Intelligence. Why this is important? Because we are going to have 2 new kind of commodities, trust and attention. They are not commodity before. And Herbert Simon, the founding father of AI, and got Turing Award for AI, got the Nobel Prize for Economics, and has famously claimed that there are 2 things in the world they cannot become commodity. One is trust, one is attention. Why? Because they cannot be produced massively. They cannot be circulated massively. For trust, we have Miller's magic number, 7 plus minus 2, means you can trust only 9 people at most, and 5 people at least in any given time. Of course, that's just a number, but it means the number of people you can trust is a limit. And the attention, there's a number number, 150 plus minus 50. I mean, if you go through your whole life, you will say, oh, I only give attention to some 100 to 200 people. So they cannot be massively generated or produced, cannot be massively circulated. So they cannot be become commodity. But with AI, with big data, with robotics, and with blockchain, they will become commercial commodity. And this is why we have a Taobao, we have a Tianmao, and we have a faster delivery today. And this is just the beginning. And we need new infrastructure. This is why we need digital twin, we need the metaverse. They are simply the factory for future knowledge work. They are simply the tools or the laser machine or the CNC machine for the future knowledge work. They are the assembling line for the future knowledge work. And I said we need the power intelligence and the metaverse. We need Hanoi. Hanoi was a game problem when we study math, when we study AI, when we study robotics. And now it has a new meaning. It's a new tower of intelligence, means we have to combine human intelligence, artificial intelligence, natural intelligence, and most importantly, organizational intelligence. And this is why we need metaverse. We need the power intelligence. And everything, all those start from CC. CC has two meanings. The scientifically means circular causality. And to the average ordinary people like us is circular consequence. Means future define past. Future define history. And we all understand the past define now, define present. But when we put a circular, and that's what will happen in metaverse with power intelligence. And this is the first paper by Nobel winner and his two colleagues on circular causality. It was published in the Philosophy of Science, 43. But the paper has been around 42 and inspired McLeod and Pete to develop their WP model for neural network. Of course, the biggest inspiration of CC is cybernetics by Wiener. And for those of us working in cybernetics, you give me a set of simple equation and tell what cybernetic is. Do you have a set of principle or major method to describe to your student what cybernetic is? No, you can't. It's an idea. It's a philosophy. It's an inspiration. And this idea of CC to cybernetics, to neural network, and most importantly, to 3CS. First is inspire von Neumann to develop his computer architecture. Remember in his report for computer architecture, he only cite one paper as reference, which is Warren Peace's paper inspired by circular causality. And why he wrote this report? He was inspired by the meeting on teleology or circular causality in the January of 1945. And Wiener, him, and Harkin had organized a workshop seminar in Princeton and discussed circular causality, discussed teleology, and in 5 months, basically he removed all those neural network, all those teleology, which is non-engineering to him, and he come up with computer architecture. It's not directly based on them, but it was inspired by secular culture. So computer science, computer system, the first CS are from CC. And then all Chinese people might be familiar, control system is from CC, mainly from Tianxuan engineering cybernetics. But most of the people don't know the third CC, CS, communication science, communication system, also from CC, starting from a channel, information theory. It's based on CC, based on Windows idea. And then the modern communication technology, which was laid the foundation by Yukong Li Yurong, Windows first PhD student. And he laid the foundation for modern wireless communication, modern telecommunication. And he organized so many summer school in MIT, and many of the major companies in modern communication are from his students, graduated from this workshop, summer school. And one company many of us still familiar when we wear our earphone, Bosch company for sound recording and so on, is from his first PhD student, Bose, B-O-S-E. So these three CS, inspired by CC, laid the foundation for today's networks, for today's terror intelligence, and for what why we are here for CPSI. And from the culture side, we have this science fiction or just the fiction. And the true name is the first one. He described cyberspace without the use of cyberspace, the name. And 81, Burning Chromium, first time made cyberspace to appear in the literature. And then next year he published this famous Neuromancer, which made cyberspace become a popular term in the society. And then 91, 92, we have two famous books. Mirror World, which is a technological book, describe metaverse. And then Snow Crash next year, which just give a name, a new name to Mirror World. And in terms of technology, of course, David Glanter's book is the true beginning of metaverse. And this is my vision for power intelligence for CPSI. We're going to have three kinds of intelligence. The descriptive intelligence we all know, and the predictive intelligence many of us now start to investigate, but we need a prescriptive intelligence. And this will fully utilize the virtual, the physical, the computational intelligence together. And we do have an equation for that. On the physical level is our control. Differently with the conventional control is we take derivative of control. That is not allowed physically or mathematically, or in terms of engineering implication, because a dot means amplification of noise. But now with cloud computing, with edge computing, we can do it. And then it's for the power measurement, and then is for the governance at a three different levels. We can have more than two systems running in parallel. We can be in continuous form, or we can in discrete form. And we can have different formalities and imply different technology. So I'm not going to elaborate on here. My initial study on this is from Monte Carlo method. And I learned that in high school on performance problem. And I was fascinated by how can you, through a pen on the floor, and you can calculate the value of pi. And then I learned Monte Carlo method can be used to conduct nuclear tests. So when I was assigned a problem to study the fracture mechanics properties of material and their life on the tracks, I come up with the idea: can we use Monte Carlo approach to calculate the life of material? And then I use that to study the imperfection, the effect on the vibration, the fundamental frequency, and so on. And then I thought, why we can use this to solve the differential equations. And but then I went to the US, I started something different. So I kind of completely forgot this. And then in '94, and when I'm doing the online system, I come back with those ideas. And everyone link virtual reality with the metaverse, but to me, they are not really they are not that closely related. Virtual reality can make metaverse better, but metaverse don't need virtual reality. And when virtual reality comes to China, Chen Xuesen suggests to use Lingjing. I think Lingjing is much bigger than virtual reality, but it's a nice name. To me, the metaverse is very simple. It's we all know is 形而上 in Chinese. And initially, people want to translate it into 玄学, and some want to translate into 圆学. 所以玄跟圆 both has been used for math. But then we use the Japanese translation, 形而上. But in Chinese, 形而上 is Dao, D-A-O. So it's still 玄学, 圆学. And if you think, as I said, if you think about cybernetics, you should know what metaverse would be in the future. So this is why I said all of us should have many dreams about metaverse. Define your own metaverse. And Zuckerberg is very wise to change his company name into Meta. Currently, Metaverse, the name has been almost forgotten for a while. It's become Web3. And but to me, the real thing is DAO. And of course, powered by NFT. But the true revolution will come from CMO, Cyber Moment Organization. And at this point, it's design, decentralized science movement. And if you're interested, you can see one of my article on this published this year in IEEE Intelligent System. And here I put the West philosophy and the Chinese thinking together. Why this is related to the parallel and the CPSS. And we need a design. Fair for fair, free, fair, and the responsibility sensitive sciences. Before, science is pure, only one. But now we're going to have many, many different kinds of science. This is why we need to be free, fair, and the responsibility sensitive. This is our first paper on design based on Web3 and DAO, a reference model. And we're going to have a second paper out soon. And we're going to have more people on this because it is very important. And to build this, we need scenario engineering. We should move forward from feature engineering, which started revolution of deep intelligence, deep learning, and move on to have a scenario engineering. Scenario should no longer be a term in literature, in social literature, or in friction. It should be an engineering term. And we just published a paper very closely related to what I'm talking today. So if you are interested, you can take a look on this paper. And 12 years ago, I think this idea is very important for not just for defense, not just for military, but also for everyday life. So I wrote two papers. One is English and promoting intelligent enterprise. And one is the Chinese promoting intelligent industries. At that time, no one talking about like a term like intelligent industry. But I didn't realize like just in 4 years, starting 2014, it become a hard term and used by everyone. And for some of you interested in the history, and this book describes very nicely about the rise of cyberspace and the true AI history from cognitive science perspective. And I wrote another paper. I think this is 2009. At that time, Web 2.0 become hot, and many people against the idea of Web 2.0. So I said, well, 1.0 is just reading. 1.2 Web 2.0, you can write, and we need Web 3.0. At that time, for me, you can calculate. So semantic web should be the starting point. And we also need Web 4.0. And at that time, I defined 4.0 as social computing. of course, it's just my personal thinking at that time, but it was a consensus for many of my colleagues at that time. And I look back this paper actually it's editorial. If I change Web 2.0 to Metaverse, all the arguments are still valid. So give me a deja vu. So the word is repeated itself. And this is another editorial I wrote, which this is the name of two movies. One, Back to Future, another is Surrogate. If you like the idea of digital twin, you should go to see the movie Surrogate, which reflects a world full of digital twin, embodied as a robot of you. You just sleep at home, use your habit to control your own robot. And the mirror world is the book I just described. And the parallel universe is another interpretation for quantum mechanics in physics. So last year is the 50th anniversary has coined the term intelligent control. And I wrote a reflection. And I think we need meta control. And this is if you're interested, this is my article this month in the JS. I think this will lead to knowledge automation and the control intelligence in a CPSI fashion. So with this new philosophy, we move into a new age. And we go from, as I always said, from Church-Turing thesis to AlphaGo thesis. Means everything go parallel. We are going to move from Newton to Merton, from Newton's big law, small data, to Merton's big data, small law. And in the future, we have to show people how we make small data to be big data, how we make big data to be deep intelligence. And that was AlphaGo did, right? So this should become a norm, become the thing everyone should do in the future. So it's a paradigm shift. And this will lead a Mac trend, 3 by 3, 5 by 5. The first 3 is 3IT. Industrial technology, information technology, and intelligent technology. We need all 3 because we are developing 3 worlds: physical, mental, and artificial. And artificial is our new hope for growth. And we are going to introduce the 3rd axial age. So physical world, mental world, and artificial world can move in synchronization. And this will lead to a 3rd wave of globalization. And this time is a positive sum, no longer zero sum, no longer negative sum. And this is our new opportunity. And if you look back, the entire human history, you find that we are developing web, we are developing network, and we are developing grid. Big, big, and big, starting from transportation, road network, and then the power line network, energy, and then the internet for information, and now the Internet of Things for everything. And then we need a final one, Internet of Mind. When we have this 5G, the organization of the society will be changed. The way our technology are conducted will be changing. And you already say that transportation becomes social transportation, computing becomes social computing. With robotics, with a 3D printer, manufacturing will become social manufacturing very soon. And with the Internet of Mind, we're going to achieve social intelligence. And this is the only way for us to go from a social operation, shared economy into smart society. And this big 5G will put 3 worlds together into one. 5 forces into one. Force of data, force of computing, force of accuracy, and force of network, force of blockchain. And they should be conducted in this 5 degrees of freedom space. Based on 3 worlds, merge the 2 space, physical and cyber. And we started our first project around 2000, and we got our biggest project in 2003. So after the starting of the project, I wrote this article for a newspaper. From nothing to all things, we need the artificial society for the study of complexity science and complex systems. And industrial will go to 5.0, which is closely related to 4.0. All ICT plus CPS. We just have different meaning, interpretation for those ICS. 4.0 is still based on the thinking of industrial automation. And we are doing automation. And based on the industrial automation, we got where we are today. But in order to move to tomorrow, we need knowledge automation. So I is no longer information, must be intelligent. C is no longer communication, must be connected. S should be human, should be social, the total relationship of the human in the world. Because man or human or person are the measure of all, everything. To be intelligent, we have to put human inside, not outside. And this is my first technical report on so-called parallel system or digital twin. I called shadow system at that time. And this is my report on industrial 4.0 and 5.0. It was delivered in Shanghai in 2000 and then published a year later by a magazine. And this is my first academic paper on parallel system, and then the CPSS. And I give a talk in Italy on Industrial 5.0 in 2019, because the conference, the theme of the conference is on Industry 4.0. So they were wondering why there's 5.0. But Germany is start launching the 5.0 moment last year. we need a new theory. To me, the new theory is power intelligence. And this paper summarizes why I come to this for the last 45 years. And this is the system architecture for doing that. Real virtual go in parallel, and you can do learning and training, you can do experiments and evaluation, and then do control and management. And the key is knowledge automation. And this is the new machine we are building to replace computers, which put three space together, which put Newton's machine and Merlin's machine together, and enable everyone to go from small information to big data, and then to deep intelligence, which will create a new job, not to make you become unemployed. You can have a new job, much better job with these machines. And in the future I see, we can have different kind of people. People like us, bio people, and the robotic people, and you already see. But a new kind of people, digital people, they live on server, on computer. Bio people like us will only be 5% of the population. Robotics, 50%, and digital, 80%. So we have to face this new world. And when we put together, we become parallel people. Parallel at edge, parallel at the crown. So when you go to any position, you will face three at least, three knowledge robots. One tell you what this position is, and one tell you what might happen, and one tell you what you should do if something happens. So 4 of you become parallel employee for this position, and you together make small to generate big data from small information, and to generate deep intelligence from big data. And this is 一线长一智 but 换了个世界。So you fall into pit in the virtual world, and you got a gain in your weight in the real world. So this will lead to low cost, high performance, high intelligence. And this is differential equation for doing that. And wrote this equation in 2005. And I thought this is ridiculous. You can't take derivative on control. That is not allowed. But I think this over for 5 years, and then 2009 I put it back in this PowerPoint presentation for our lab in 2009, and made this a foundation for us to become a national lab. And I told the Ministry of Science and Technology, we're going to have a lab for parallel intelligent, parallel science, and parallel technology. And in 2 years, we become a national lab. And this new method, this is our lab mission. We have power manufacturing, power management, and I'm going to have article on power management out this month in 自动化学. And we're doing power control for almost 20 years, and power robotics, power machine manufacturing, power medicine, power health, power societies. And we call us Society 5.0. And then Japan proposed the Society 5.0. And we also have parallel ecology. And actually, one of the reasons for me to do this is Lightyear's report. And he said, your people doing AI, you squander money for 20 years, and you just give us ABC. In English, ABC means basic, trivial. And what ABC means? So you said you are doing AI, but to him is ABC. One group of people just doing advanced automation. Another group of people just do computer-based CNS, central nervous system. And A and C are two worlds apart. They are not connected. And then there's third group of people come in doing B. They are called the bridge activity by building robots. Try to link A and C together by building this bridge. And you guys have tried to build a bridge for 20 years because to people, UK, to people, British people, AI not started at 1956. AI started at 1947 when Turing completed his report called the Intelligent Machinery. And that's the starting year of AI. And by 1973, when Lightyear was asked to write his report, it's already 20 years. So where's the bridge? Still under the water, no use. So why give more money to AI research? And this is why AI has this winter for 10 years, more than 10 years. No money, no funding. All the department, all the program are shut down, and from UK to US, and then all other countries. And I give another interpretation about his report. I called Lightyear gap. Means physical world and mental world are just two parts. You need hard to bridge them together. And the only way for me is use parallel, use data, use big data to fill it up, use parallel to do end-to-end bridging, connecting. So this is why I'm doing parallel intelligence. And the data and the parallel are intrinsically connected because these two sentences by these two famous research in management. Speaking with the data become artificial world, become descriptive intelligence. Predictive the future become computational experiment, become predictive intelligence. And created the future become parallel execution and become primitive intelligence. So for all this, we started from parallel data, parallel image, parallel vision, parallel perception, parallel planning, parallel testing, parallel management, parallel learning, and the parallel blockchain. And we have big vision. We want the world to be peaceful. We want our economy to be efficient. So we want our world to be 300% safe. Safety in physical world, security in mental world, and sustainability in eco or in artificial world. And we need international collaboration. So by doing this, we move into a new phase. I said, we're moving on the true Dao. True means four things. trustable, reliable, useful, and then do the right thing in the right way. DAO has 3 levels of DAO: distributed, decentralized, autonomous, automated, organizational, and audit. We're not only going to have a DAO of organization, but also DAO of operations. And we make our ancient philosophy to become engineering, become a technology things. And then we make attention and the trust to be new something, commercial commodity. And we need a DAO, we need a token, and we need the foundation for intelligent system. We can't use the big data, the fragment, unstructured data. We have to use the connected, reliable data, blockchain. And we have to make small file to become big file. So big data change the material for production, robot change the productivity, and blockchain change the relationship for production. And this is how we put everything together. We put emergence and convergence, the 2 opposite concepts, into one by using CPS. And this is how we do the control. For simple case, for middle complex, and for real complex system. We need a blockchain, and we need to use blockchain for real hard economy systems. And we need a blockchain, NFT. And I start research actually from smart system, because we need to make our living environment better before we see anything. But I'm not going to expand this here. So this is the aim. We have to do this. And if you're interested on that, I wrote another paper, editorial on how we come to this conclusion. And this is the Bay, means north star, the direction for us, the big economy of intelligence. Something from nothing, so everyone can share. We need a prediction market. This is what we are doing. And for those of you interested, you can take a look at our paper on this, the Chinese one on DAO, and the English one on DAO, and the parallel governance, and how the blockchain smart contract go together. And we can do the parallel governance. And we are designing Cascade 2 and the CAD 2 to cats, and use that for transportation. And this is the recent issue of ITS magazine. We have a paper on this, and it's become the cover story. It's a summary, brief summary of what we are doing. And for this, we need the crypto management. We need the math society. We need the math economy and math management. We need the federated control. So if you look at the future, I think we're going to go to a much better world. we start from labor specialization or labor division, and we're going to go to the 人机分离 and then go to the 虚实分离. Circular causality based on the three words. What if for the virtual world? If then for the actual world? Three signs, three knowledge, and for three ideas. I want to a new philosophy with 3D. In addition to the being, becoming in the traditional Western philosophy, we need believing. We need believing to become a technology. So we need a new philosophy, power philosophy. And for those of you interested, I have 3 papers on this. One on the power philosophy for smart industry, for science, and for technology. Our problem is 3 words. Is open society and its enemy. The book has impacted me significantly. I read his book in 1994 and changed my idea about the world, about research, about my career. If you're interested, you should read it. And so we can become a 6S world. Let us be safe in the physical world, be secure in the cyberspace, be sustainable, and be sensitive to our privacy, to our right, individual right, be optimal, be saving, and provide a service for all of us. And this is the way for us to be smart. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wang, for your excellent presentation. I think we have all learned a lot from your 1-hour presentation. So do we have any question for Dr. Wang? This is a rare chance to learn from him directly.
Dr. Wang, I think you come across a lot of concept and for many of us to digest, some, I wondered, I think some of, I have experienced and explored are very useful when you have this kind of para-intelligence, and particularly you mentioned a computational experiment. Oftentimes, students have questions, say, how is that different? Or maybe can you elaborate a little bit more, the computational experiments that play a very important role in the para-intelligent control. How is that different from simulations? And whether you have a suggestion how we do a better computational experiment, rather than we do simulation in the past using Monte Carlo or statistic methods, or have you explored some good method for us to further invest?
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't speak that well. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No problem. You can speak slowly, so that we hear you fine.
One of my students, he's now a professor at Tianjin University. Xue Xiao, he graduated from our lab. he's to me he's the leading expert in computational experiment. He published a book, Chinese one. You should take a read, and we are writing about a dozen papers together on the computational experiment, and some published in the TCSS transaction on computational social systems, and some published in Chinese in 自动化学报. So for those of you interested, you can read those papers. But I want to say a few words here. You are asking me this question, and I have been asked for the more than last 20 years, because I started this, as I said, in 1994. I was fortunately to have two colleagues who are the authority in computer simulation. One is Bernie Ziegler. So we are in the same research group. He is the authority in computer simulation in US. And one is Francois Celia from Europe, who is in Chinese, 他的导师跟吴启迪是同一个人，是欧洲的仿真的创始人。I forgot his name. So